Hello, everyone. I would like to start this international webinar with this special quote that is success usually come to those who are too busy to be looking for it. So, starting a new chapter, I, Abhishek Kumar, being the host for the event, want to extend a very warm welcome and very good evening to all of you present here. And I hope you all are doing amazing. So, on behalf of the whole SEMS family, I welcome you all for this international webinar on the topic how to be a big cat in a corporate jungle. And to add our guest of honor and our speaker to you, that is, he is retired Colonel Sanjeet Siroi, sir. It's a great honor to have you with us, and we are very much thankful for your presence. And as I can see that a quite number of people are joining us. So before I proceed, let me take a brief introduction of my organization, SEMS. SEMS Welfare Foundation is a non-profit entity established to work in the areas of education, social welfare, women empowerment, skill development, entrepreneurship, livelihood generation, employability, health, research, culture, international cooperation, sports, environment protection, and with the similar sectors. We also promote healthy life, a balance, and a strong business. And now, let me introduce our speaker to you all, Colonel Sanjeev Siroi, sir. He is an economics graduate from DU and joined Indian Military Academy in 1975. He also served for 35 years. Along that, he has retired as a colonel in 2009. In the last 13 years, he has interacted with more than 2,000 students and helped them to achieving their success by developing skills like soft skills, employability skills, and many more. In the last couple of years, he has also partnered with prestigious CBSE schools in NCR to speak and promote life skill and helping them to identify their identities, and also conducted various seminars for teachers, motivation, training, and workshop. Talking about his training and public speaking experience, he worked as a senior trainer for personality development with Winning Mantra. He also worked as a director HR in Institute of Hotel Management Meerut for the several years and was responsible for training and placement for the fresh hospitality students. He also conducted coaching for SSB. He has also conducted various workshop on teachers and faculty development. He also delivers several talks during parents-teacher meeting in most of the prestigious schools in NCR. He has also conducted a various session on employability skills for the graduate and postgraduate students at Chaudhry Charan Singh University, Meerut. He also delivers motivational talks on Heroes Quest program, which is telecasted by First Bite TV, a new channel in Meerut. He also writes several articles in the Times Plus and Daily World. Apart from that, he also deliver talks how the power of goal setting makes on successful on the Joe Stock. He has also a panel of expertise on Expertron and have a live video bot. He is also a panel of expertise on the Seco app for helping the students doubts. During the COVID and the pandemic time, he has also conducted various motivational training webinar for the principals, teachers, coordinator, and the counselors of the different schools like All Army Public School in the country, DAV Public School Ambala, IIMT School Meerut, Rotary Public School Gurugram, DPS Ghaziabad, and many more. He has also conducted webinar for SSB for NCC candidate of Directorate of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and Chandigarh, and also Dehradun Defense Academy. On June 9, 2021, he also conducted a session on the career skills during faculty development program for AICTE affiliated institute, and many more.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhishek. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We start with a very important topic. And why it is important is because nowadays in corporate world, there is a lot of downsizing, capsizing, and right sizing taking place. So it is the survival of the fittest. Now, if we have to survive in a national jungle or in a corporate jungle, one has to be fit. Now, if you just imagine when two tigers prowling through the jungle chance upon each other in a clearing, what did they do? They look at each other, they freeze. Instinctively, they start calculating that if our staring comes to hissing, hissing came to scratching, and scratching came to clawing, who would win? Which of us has the stronger survival skills? That is what happens in a jungle. Tigers in the wilderness differ little from the upright animals in the corporate jungle. Humans start this process by looking at each other and talking. In business world, while smiling and uttering, how do you do, hello, howdy, hi, they are like tigers, instinctively and instantaneously sizing each other up. And how do they do that? They are not calculating the length of each other's claws or the sharpness of their teeth. They are judging each other on a weapon which is far more powerful for survival in the corporate jungle. And that weapon, as we all know, and if we don't know, we must know that weapon is a communication skills. Because everyone knows that 85% of the success in life, whether it is a professional or it is a personal life, depends on your directly on your communication skills. Research and studies have proved, and it is the latest trend, that employers choose candidates with good communication skills and attitude way over education, experience, and training. Big winners know that communication skills take people to the top. Thus, by observing each other carefully during casual conversing, it becomes almost immediately evident to both that who is the bigger cat in the corporate jungle. It doesn't take long for people to recognize who is an important person. One cliche, one insensitive remark, or one over anxious reaction, and you can be professionally and personally demoted. You can lose a potentially important friendship or a business contract, or one stupid move, and you can tumble off the corporate ladder. So, ladies and gentlemen, the basic thing which I want to tell you is that in the corporate world, if you want to survive, you can only survive with your communication skills. Now, in communicating with someone or in conversing with someone, I would like to tell you 10 techniques. And if you use these techniques, 10 techniques, I can assure you, you will be judged as a big cat in this corporate jungle. So, how to be a big cat in the corporate jungle? Now, I'll tell you 10 techniques. Now, these are firstly, don't ask anyone what do you do. It is very, very important. And why I will tell you. Number two, keep Nutsheel verbal resume ready. Like you keep your written resume ready, you must keep your verbal resume also ready. Number three, your personal thesaurus. I will be talking about that. Delay revealing similarity. When someone is talking and when you also share something, don't immediately say, yes, we also do the same thing or I also do the same thing. Delay revealing the similarity. Use you too often in conversation. Practice different smile. One smile for everyone is not going to pay you anything. Before breaking news, keep receiver in mind. Very, very important. The broken record, don't slobber. And lastly, never say the naked thank you. Now let's take them one. Now first is don't ask what do you do. Big cat, they never ask outright what do you do. Why? Firstly, by not asking this question, big cat come across as more principled and even spiritual. After all, their silence says a man and or woman is far more important than his job or her job. So that is one. People take them as very principled and spiritual. Secondly, resisting the tempting question also shows their sensitivity. Why? With so much of downsizing, right sizing, and capsizing taking place in the corporate world nowadays, the blunt interrogation evokes uneasiness if you ask someone, what do you do? Thirdly, The job question is also unpleasant for those who are between engagements. Fourthly, this is particularly for women. There are millions of talented and accomplished women who have chosen to devote themselves to motherhood. When a cruel corporate question is thrust at them, they feel very guilty about it. And this question belittles these women who were chosen to be the homemaker. And lastly, the final benefit of not asking this question is that it avoids people throwing off guard. It convinces them you are enjoying their company, who they are, not for any crass networking reason. So, in simple term, the technique is sure sign that you are a big cat in the conspicuous absence of the question, what do you do? You determine this, of course, but not with those four dirty words that label you as either a ruthless networker, a social climber, or a gold digging husband or wife hunter. What is the right way to find out what someone is doing for his living? You simply practice the following 8 words, which I am going to tell you. And those 8 words are, how do you spend most of your time? Now, once you ask this, these 8 words opens the door for the workaholics to spout off. These 8 word question also give those who are somewhere between leisure and at work the choice of telling you about their job or not. So it is their option whether they want to tell you that they are not doing anything or they are doing something. So that is the first thing you must always remember. Never ask anyone, what do you do? You can find out by other means. Now, the second technique is keep nutshell resume ready. Now, having said that, 99% of the people will still ask you, what do you do for your living? Now, big cats, they realize this thing and they always are ready and fully prepared for this interrogation. Many folks I've seen, many people, they have one resume, and whenever they are seeking for some employment, what they do is they print out a stack of resumes and they send them to all prospective employers. And in that, they mention basically what job they have done earlier, what have been their experience, and what is their education. And I can assure you, 99% of these people, they don't even get a call letter for an interview. Why? Simply because they don't mention anything which the company is seeking for. And as a result, they keep on looking for a job and they will never get a job. But big boys and girls, they have their bits and bytes of entire work experience tucked away in their computers. When applying for a job, specific job, they punch up only the appropriate data and print it out. So they don't have a general resume, they have a specific resume for a specific job. So same should be the case when we are conversing with someone. To make the most of every encounter, personalize your verbal resume with just as much care as you would with your written CV. Instead of having one answer to what do you do, prepare dozen or so variations depending on who is asking. For optimum networking, every time someone asks you about your job, give a calculated oral resume nutshell. Before you submit your answer, consider what possible interest the asker could have in you or in your job. That is the most important thing. So, what I want to mention is that whenever someone asks you, what do you do, don't have only one answer for everyone. You must try to understand why that person is asking you, how your answer can benefit him or you. And then accordingly, you must answer. When someone asks you, what do you do, never give one word or 2 word answer because that is basically required for filling the forms. You must always ask yourself, how could my professional experience benefit this person's life? Because every job has some benefit. That's why you are paid for it. Putting the benefit statement in your nutshell verbal resume brings your job to life and makes it memorable. Even your new acquaintances, even if the new acquaintances can't use your services, the next time when he meets someone, he will always remember you. And as a result, you will be benefited. So, what is the technique? Just as job seeking top managers roll a different written resume of their printers for each position they are applying for. Let a different true story about your professional life roll off your tongue for each listener. So, for each listener, you must have a different resume. Before responding to what do you do, ask yourself what possible interest could this person have in my answer? Could he refer business to me? So that is number two technique, very, very important. Yeah. Third technique is your personal thesaurus. Now, what does it mean? The world perceives people with rich vocabulary to be more creative and more intelligent. People with large vocabularies get hired quicker, promoted faster, and listen to a whole lot more. So big winners use rich, full words, but they never sound inappropriate. The phrase slide gracefully off their tongue to enrich their conversation. With the care that they choose, their tie or their blouse, big players in life choose words to match their personalities and their points. So you have to have a rich vocabulary if you want to be a big cat in a corporate jungle. But the startling good news is that there is a very little difference between a respected vocabulary and the mundane one. And that difference is only 50 words. You don't need much to sound like a big winner. A mere few dozen words will give a wonderful impression that you have an original and creative mind. Acquiring this super vocabulary is very easy. All you need to think is of some words which you use every day. In fact, you overuse them, like words like smart, nice, pretty, good. So these are the words which are everyone uses. And if you use these words, then you don't become a big cat. You are a mediocre person because you are using a mediocre vocabulary. So what do? You write down these words which you think you are using most of the day, and then take a thesaurus or synonym book off the shelf, and then start looking for synonyms of these words which you are bored by hearing every day. Write down the list and say out each loudly, because every word you may not be able to pronounce it correctly. Which one fits your personality? Which one seems right for you? Try each on like a suit of clothing you try every day. Try each word by speaking them loudly, and whichever you feel you are comfortable with, start using that word, and then it will increase your natural staple of your vocabulary. Now, for example, I'll tell you, you go to a party and that party is very wonderful. Don't tell the host that it was a wonderful party, because most of the guests will be saying that. You can use the word like it was a splendid party, it was a super party, it was an extraordinary party. Hug the host and tell them that you had a magnificent time, you had a remarkable time, or you had a glorious time. Vocabulary is all matter of familiarity. Use your favorite a few times, just like breaking a pair of new shoes, and you will be very comfortable wearing your glorious new words. So, the technique in brief is look up some common words you use every day in the thesaurus. Then, like slipping your feet into a new pair of shoes, slip your tongue into few words to see how they fit. If you like them, start making permanent replacement. So that was the third technique, and it doesn't need much. There are only 50 words. Even if you try one word per day, within 2 months, you will be the elite class of people who will be having rich vocabulary. Okay. We move on to the next one. Delay revealing similarity. Tiger prowls with tigers. Lion lurks with lions. And little alley cats scramble around the other little alley cats. Similarity breeds attraction. But in the corporate jungle, big cat, they know a secret. And what is that secret? When you delay revealing your similarity with anyone, or you let them discover it on their own, it has a much more punch. Whenever someone mentions common interest or experience, instead of jumping in with a breathless, hey, me too, I do that too, or I know all that about, let your conversation partner enjoy talking about it. Let him or her do the talking. When someone starts telling you about activity he has done, a trip she has made, a club he belongs to, or an interest she has, anything you share, bite your tongue. Just keep quiet. Let the teller relish his or her monologue. Relax and enjoy it, secretly knowing how much pleasure your conversation partner will have when you reveal the same experience. And then, when the moment is right, casually disclose your similarity and be sure to mention how much you enjoyed hearing about his or her shared interest. So never jump when someone tells you something which you are also sharing. Wait for some time and then disclose it. Whenever you have something in common with someone, the longer you wait to reveal it, the more moved and impressed he or she will be. You emerge as a confident big cat, not a lonely stray hungry for quick connection with a stranger. Very, very important, especially in the corporate world. Normally, we try to be similar with others, and as a result, we lose our importance. Next technique, use too often in communication. Now, this is very, very important, not only in your professional life, but in your personal life also. Big winners knows there is a three-letter word more potent than sex to get people's attention, and that word is you. Now, why you is such a powerful word? Let us go back to our infant days. When we were infant, we thought that we were the center of the universe. Nothing mattered but me, myself, and I. And all those figures we were moving around us, later on we came to know that they were the people. We thought that these shadows, these people were there for us only. And whatever they are doing for us. Self-centered styles that we were when we were infant. Our tiny brains translated every action, every word into how does that affect me. Even a small infant, everything we translated, our small brain translated that how does that affect me. Big winners know, big cats know that things have not changed. As an adult, we camouflage our self-centeredness through the mask of civilization and politeness. Yet, the human brain is same what it was when we were infant. It still immediately, instinctively, and unfailingly translates everything into terms of how does that affect me. So whatever we are doing in life, our brain is always calculating, always translating the action and words of others that how does it will affect us. There is a principle which is known as pleasure pain principle. It is a guiding force in our life, and if you understand that, you will understand this philosophy of life. Psychologists tell us that everyone automatically gravitates towards the pleasure. We move toward the pleasure and pull away from that which is painful. And for many of us, ladies and gentlemen, thinking is also a painful. And big winners and big cats, they know that. And that is why when they wish to control someone, when they wish to inspire someone, when they want that someone should love them, when they want to sell something to the customer, or small thing when they want to take somebody out for dinner, they do thinking for them. They translate everything into other person terms by starting as many sentences as possible with that powerful three-letter word that is you. Now, what happens? Putting you first gets a much better response, firstly, especially when you're asking a favor, because it pushes the pride button of a person you are asking a favor. And secondly, it also enriches your social conversation. Now, let me give you an example. You are in a party, there are two ladies who have admired your suit. Which woman will give you a warm feeling? One woman says, I like your suit. The other one says, you look great in that suit. So you can understand which one will give you warm feeling. So that is what this you word, three-letter word is so important. Now, what is the technique of using it? Start your appropriate sentence with you. It immediately grabs your listener's attention. It gets a more positive response because it pushes the pride button and saves them having to translate into me terms. When you sprinkle you as liberally as salt and pepper throughout your conversation, your listeners find it an irresistible spice which they are going to bite. So always and every time, whenever possible, start your sentence with you, and automatically you get attention from that person. Next is practice different smiles. Very, very important. Normally, we always think that smile is a smile, there is only one smile. But let me tell you, Big Cat knows that there are different smiles for different people. Have you ever seen a low budget fashion magazine that uses the same model throughout? Whether she is engulfed in a wedding sari or partially clad in a bikini, her face sports the same plastic smile. But if you buy any sophisticated and very, very expensive magazine, you will find that models have mastered a myriad of different expressions. A flirtatious smile on one page, a quizzical smile on the second page, and mysterious Mona Lisa smile on the third page. You feel there is a brain running the operation somewhere inside that beautiful face. Now, let me tell you, if your job requires you to carry a gun, you would, of course, learn everything about the gun, including the moving parts of that gun. And before taking aim, you will always consider whether when I fire this gun, whether it will murder someone, it will maim someone, or it will barely wound someone. Since your smile is the biggest weapon in your communication skills, learn all about moving parts and the effect on the target. So, is your survival skill in the corporate jungle and in communication skill, the smile is the biggest weapon, most powerful weapon which you have, but you must know how to use it. Now, I'll tell you how to use it. Set aside 5 minutes every day, lock your bedroom or your bathroom so that the family members of yours, they don't think that you have gone mad. Stand in front of the mirror and flash few smiles, and then discover the subtle differences in your repertoire. Just see the difference in your smiles. Just as you would alternate saying hello, how do you do, I am pleased to meet you, hi, when being introduced to different people, vary your smile also. Don't use the same on each. Let each smile of yours reflect the nuances of the sentiments about the recipient. Very important. If one person in a group is more important than the others, reserve an emotionally big flooding smile for that person. Let us see the technique. If you flash everybody the same smile, it loses value. When meeting group of people, grace each with a distinct smile. Let your smile grow out of the beauty big players find in each face. So vary your smile for different people. Before breaking news, keep receiver in mind. Very important, but most of the people are not aware of this. They are insensitive to this very important thing. In ancient Egypt, because there the king were known as pharaohs, they treated the humblest message runner like a prince when he brought a very good news for them. He was treated like a prince in a palace. But if same messenger brought some misfortune and he wanted to tell the pharaoh or the king, his head was chopped off because for no fault of his, because he brought the bad news. Shades of that spirit pervade today's conversation. I'll repeat, that spirit is still there. It is not the news that makes someone angry. It is the unsympathetic attitude with which it is delivered. You have to be very sensitive to news which you are delivering. At time to time, we have to give bad news, but winning professionals or a big winners, they do it with proper attitude. Whenever doctor tells any patient that he has to be operated upon, he tells him or her with compassion. Whenever an employer has to fire an employee, he informs him with sympathetic remarks. And big winners, they know it. When delivering any bad news, they should share the sentiment of the receiver. That is very, very important. But unfortunately, many people are not aware of this sensitivity. Now, let me give you an example. When you have come after a long flight at early hours in the morning and you are feeling very sleepy and you check in into a hotel and at receptionist, you are told that your room is not ready with a smile. What do? You feel like hitting that person. That is what, when you have to break a news, you must break with a proper sentiments, with a proper attitude, and keeping the listener in mind. So let us see the technique. Before throwing out any news, keep your receiver in mind. Then deliver it with smile, a sigh, or a sob. Not according to how you feel about the news, but how the receiver will take it. Next is the broken record. Very funny, but very, very important. Now, must have some experience about this broken record. If you play it, it keeps on repeating the same thing again and again. So, what is this technique? This technique is very, very useful when you don't want to answer and you want somebody to shut up, or you want to answer the same answer, whether what how many times he asks you, you are not bothered. I will tell you a small incident. One of my friend who was in a business and his wife was also a partner with him. And after some time, they divorced each other. And soon after divorce, I was sitting with my friend and we were having a gala farewell dinner. And while we were having dessert, and my friend name was telling, one person who must be a friend of his, he was sitting next to him. And after some time, he could control himself. And he asked Stalin, what happened with you and Reena? Now, he also knew that they both have divorced. But that person, I don't know why he wanted to ask. So Stalin was unruffled by this rude question. He simply took spoonful of his dessert and just told him, we are separated, but the company is unaffected. But this gentleman was not satisfied with the answer and he pumped harder and then again asked, are you still working together? Stalin took another bite of the dessert and repeated it precisely in the same tone of voice. And he said, we have separated, but the company is unaffected. Now, the frustrated interrogator was not going to give up so easily. He again asked him, are you both still working in the company? Now, Stalin, appearing not the least disturbed by the man's incontinent insistence, scooped the last cherry out of his dish, smiled, looked directly at him, and said in the identical tone of voice, we have separated, but the company is unaffected. That shut him up. Stalin has shown a big winner badge by using the broken record technique, the most effective way to curtail an unwelcome cross-examination. So let us summarize the technique. Whenever someone persists in questioning you on unwelcome subject, simply repeat your original response. Use precisely the same words in precisely the same tone of voice. Hearing it again usually quiets them down. So that was one technique which most of the big cap people, they use it if they don't want to answer some stupid question. Next is don't slobber. Now this is very interesting and I want you to pay special attention to it. Now I will explain to you this by an illustration. Now suppose you are sitting in a restaurant, good restaurant, and you are having a dinner and suddenly you see someone sitting on the next table and you somehow feel that you have seen him somewhere and then you realize, oh, is it really he? Could it be possible? Maybe that he looks alike. No, he is it. It is really him. And what do you see? You see Amitabh Bachchan along with one of his friends sitting on the next table just 10 feet away from you. Now, what do? Nothing. Let the star enjoy a brief moment of anonymity. If he glances in your direction, give a smile and nod. And then waft your gaze back to your dinner partner. You will be a lot cooler in the eyes of your dinner partner if you take it all in your stride. But suppose you don't want to miss this lifetime opportunity to meeting your favorite star in a flesh, and you want to press his flesh by shaking hand with him, and you want to admire him, then you must do it with grace. Now, how do you do that? Wait until you are leaving or your mega star is leaving. And then walk up to him and say something like this. I quote, Mr. Amitabh, I just want to tell you how much pleasure your wonderful films have given me over the years. Thank you very much. Unquote. Did you pick up this subtlety? You're not complimenting on his acting, because if you do that, he may think that who are you to judge him on his acting, and he may not like it, because you can only speak from your own perspective. And you do this by telling how much pleasure his work has given you. So that is the correct way of doing it. And then your body language can express that I have done away with. If, however, the megastar is captivated by you or something, then all bets are off. You are on your own. Enjoy until you pick up the body language signal that he wants to leave. Other thing which I want to tell you is that if the megastar is with some companion and your conversation goes for some time, direct some comments at that companion. If the satellite is such a stellar, if the satellite is in such a stellar company, he or she is probably also an accomplished person. Another sensitivity, very, very important. The film star is possibly obsessed with his last film. The politicians are normally obsessed with their last election. The corporate mogul are obsessed with their last takeover. And authors, they are obsessed with their last book. So when you discuss the star, politician, corporate mogul, or author, try to give comments on their latest work or a recent work. Stick to the present or very recent past if possible. That is very, very important. Don't talk about a movie which was released 15, 20 years back. That means after that, this man has not done anything for his living. Now, the final celebrity codicil which I want to tell, which most of the people, they falter on that is, if there is some person, very, very important VIP in your party, whether he's a singer, he's a TV star, or he's a movie star, don't ask him to start singing a song. Don't request him, or don't ask an actor to show you some acting, because what looks effortless to the rest of us, because they seem to do so comfortably, but it is work for them. It is not an entertainment for them. For you, it may be entertainment. You tell me one thing. If accountant comes to your house, do you ask him to check your account books? If dentist come to your house, do you ask him to check your third left molar? No. So why you ask all these people to do something? Let them also drink, enjoy, and enjoy the party. So the technique for this is, if you meet some celebrity, people who are VIPs in their own right, don't slobber over celebrities. When you are chatting with one, don't compliment her work. Simply say how much pleasure or insight it is giving you. Don't compliment on their work, because you are no authority to compliment on their work. If you do single out of any of the stars' accomplishments, make sure it is a recent one, not a memory that's getting yellow in her scrapbook. Now we come to the last, very simple, very important. Never the naked thank you. To wrap up sounding like the big boys and girls, here is a simple and gracious little maneuver. It not only signal people you are a top communicator, it encourages them to keep doing nice things for you, or complimenting you, or doing business with you, or loving you. It is very short, simple, and sweet. You can use it with everyone in your life. And what is it? It is the thank you. But the problem is that most of the people use the naked thank you. Always make it thank you for something. People use the bare, exposed thank you so often that people don't take them seriously. For example, when you buy something from a shopkeeper, even if a newspaper, and he will give you change after you have given a big nominated note, you say thank you to him. Do you think that thank you and the thank you which you say tell the customer who has bought a lot of things from your store, is it the same? It cannot be same. So please use thank you with something, with some reason. Could be thank you for coming, thank you for being so understanding, thank you for waiting. So the technique is, never let the word thank you stand alone. From A to Z, always follow it with for, from thank you for asking, thank you for zipping me up. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, these were the 10 techniques which I wanted to share with you. And as we all know, that the corporate world is in total problem because of the recession all over the world. And if you have to survive in this corporate jungle, you have to be a big cat. If you try to be a small cat, or if you are a small cat, then let me tell you, it will be very difficult for you to survive. So follow these techniques. They are very simple. There is not anything, there is not a rocket science in that. They are very, very simple, and they are very, very effective, and they are easily can be used of. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I will answer those questions.
Thank
Please
you,
go
sir.
ahead.
Thank you, sir. Such amazing knowledge shared by you, sir. And I hope our audience learned many new things from this session. And I would like to thank you for joining and sharing your experience and knowledge with us. Sir, there are some questions which our people want to be answered. So, with your
Yeah, please go ahead.
permission, shall we? Sir, the first question is, sir, can you just tell me the skills required in a corporate world nowadays? Number of skills and types of skills.
Like, let me tell you,
Hmm.
there are a number of skills. First and the foremost, which I told you, is the communication skills. That is, I'm telling you, the success of anybody depends on the communication skills. Number one. Number two is your attitude. Now, the most of the employers are looking for these two skills. Earlier, they were looking for many other skills like decision making skills, critical thinking skills, goal setting skills, and many more. But nowadays, basically, they are concentrating on two skills: communication skills and the attitude, because they feel that if a person attitude is positive, then that person can learn anything within very short time. So these, if you can master these two skills, communication skills and attitude, then you will be hired fast, you will be promoted fast, and you will do well not only your professional life but also in your personal life.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And sir, the second question is, sir, can you just tell the strategy that need to be followed in the corporate world nowadays
What strategy?
to be the best part of that
I
teamwork
told
work?
you the best as required thing is, firstly, I told you you must have a good communication skills. Number two is you must have a positive attitude. Number three is you must keep on learning something new, because the way the world is moving, it is moving at a very fast pace. If you don't keep pace with the technology and other things which are happening in the world, you will be left behind. And once you are left behind, then you will be outdated and you will lose your everything. So it is that you must keep on updating your knowledge, updating your skills, so that you are available and you try to become yourself indispensable. That is the only success mantra I'm telling you. You be indispensable.
Okay, sir. Sir, the next question is, how can someone develop strong communication skills and interpersonal skills to excel in a corporate world?
Look, both these things, communication skills and interpersonal skills, is a subject by itself. And it is very difficult for me to explain this in such a short time, right? It is subject by itself. But what we can do is we can have one or two webinars on both communication skills and on interpersonal skills next time.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You are right, sir. Sir, the next question is, some people are asking that the number of motivations strategy that need to be followed in a corporate world.
I'm telling you now, all these questions cannot be answered in one line. They require a full webinar for that.
Okay, sir.
But one thing what I want to tell you about motivation is, motivation, nobody can motivate you. You have to motivate yourself, and that motivation has to come from inside. Outside motivation is not going to last very long. It has to be intrinsic motivation, not extrinsic motivation.
Okay.
And for motivation, you have to have a motive, and that motive has to be yours. So you, for everything, you must know why. And if your why is, you know your why, then you will always be motivated.
Yes, sir. You are right, sir. Correct, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir,
Okay,
for
thank you.
for all this, and we are very much thankful for your presence, sir. and I hope our team has learned very much knowledge from you. So once again, sir, thank you, sir.